Big week in Prairie Village, 7:04. Good morning. Happy Friday. Glad you're here on KCMO. Prairie Village City Council passed a resolution expressing its solidarity with Minneapolis. So, they're really doing the things that need to be done in that community. The City Council is definitely taking itself very seriously this week as they pass the big things that actually matter to the people of Prairie Village. Boy, tell me you don't have enough to do without telling me you don't have enough to do. What are we going to do tonight on the agenda? Oh, we're going to pass an ordinance standing in solidarity with Minneapolis.
But watch the size of that she shed in the backyard there, brother. That man cave's looking a little big.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So this went viral in the last 24 hours or so. It was something that we noted earlier in the week, but then video surfaced from the city council meeting in Prairie Village earlier this week when Ron Nelson, who basically looks like Jerry Garcia reincarnated, he's got the man bun, the gray hair, the beard, the whole thing. I mean, he's a little thinner and slimmer than Jerry Garcia was in his later years. But outside of that, he's kind of a dead ringer. And he gets up there at the city council meeting earlier this week and puts on quite a show. Here's what it sounded like.
We are not the ones making this political. We are Minneapolis. Minneapolis is us. Every city across the country is in the same spot. This administration has intentionally attacked cities that it does not like for things that it does not like because those cities don't bend a knee to the desires of an abuser.
That was Jerry Garcia, a.k.a. Ron Nelson, Prairie Village City Council member. I have been critical of the administration at times in terms of how it's approached what it's done in Minneapolis. And maybe not thinking two steps ahead and making sure they're actually protecting their ICE agents instead of having at times a free-for-all up there with the Border Patrol and ICE. But the notion that they're doing anything illegal, the notion that they are somehow out over their skis on any of this, as Ron Nelson just alleged, is not living in the real world of facts. They're enforcing federal immigration laws that have been passed over the years on a bipartisan basis. Just because you don't like them doesn't mean that they're doing anything illegal. Could their approach be better? Yeah. Could the approach be smarter and more targeted? Absolutely. I've made that point on this show over the last 2 weeks since the Alex Prairie shooting. But Ron Coleman's just getting warmed up in Prairie Village, by the way, John. I'm just getting started with this guy. This is going to get good here. Just take a listen.
We are not all Minneapolis PS.
Well, that's like very theatrical, right?
Oh, yeah.
We stand with Minneapolis.
It's all performance crap.
I know. We are Minneapolis. Well, no, you're Prairie Village. You're not.
Knee.
I mean, does Ron Coleman have half a dozen Somalians in his basement? If he doesn't, then no, he's not Minneapolis.
That's purely what it is. It is authoritarian tactics by a Gestapo-like force.
Ooh, good pronunciation.
It is not a police force.
Yeah.
It is a Gestapo-type force imposing abuse on people.
So now the law enforcement agents who are legally doing a job that Democrats and Republicans in Congress over decades have tasked them with doing are now basically the Gestapo, or the Gestapo, as he liked to put it there, John.
Yeah, it's like, well, I know white liberal females are taking a lot of heat right now, but you got to put the baby boys in there too.
Yeah.
Right. Don't leave them out.
Don't leave them out.
Their estrogen's right there with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Not for crimes, not for violations of law, but simply because they want to make people fear. We must stand against that and stand with those who support law. The forces that are imposing themselves and murdering people across the country, not just in Minneapolis, kidnapping children, are not forces of good. They are not supporting the Constitution.
So now he's going down basically a debunked lie of kidnapping children.
I mean, the idiot has no idea about reality.
No,
apparently.
he's not. He's not. He literally just watched Rachel Maddow reruns before he got to the council meeting and, hopped on there and said, this is my moment. I'm taking the mic. Here we go, baby. Ronald Willie Nelson from the Prairie Village City Council meeting. I mean, it's just not based in reality. If you don't agree with the policy, that's fine. And there are things to be critical of DHS and how they've handled things over the last month, specifically in Minneapolis. I've made some of those critiques. But now the guy just sounds like a guest on MSNBC. Or sorry, it's MS Now, not MSNBC. My bad. That's what he sounds like. This is just like, all right, I got my talking points from Joe Scarborough, so let's go, baby.
A liberal and an open mic. What could go wrong?
I don't know. Well, there's another 40 seconds of what could go wrong.
Variety.
They are not abiding by the Constitution. There were speakers who talked about immigration. This isn't about immigration. This is about the Constitution of the United States and anti-democratic forces. And we need to stand against it. There were people in Germany who did not stand against those forces. That doesn't mean they were right or that they should have not stood against. We have that opportunity.
He's a nut job.
Ron Nelson, Prairie Village City Councilman, going viral this week all across the internet for those comments. Viewing himself as somehow someone who's standing up to the Trump administration akin to people standing up against the Nazis 100 years ago, 80 years ago, whatever you want to call it. That's Ron Nelson right now. Think about that. That's how he frames himself. He's a hero in his own mind here. He's a white knight warrior in his own mind.
Legend in his own shower.
Yes, exactly what he is and what he's turned himself into. And it's like, man, you know what? You want to disagree. That's all well and good. But claiming that ICE is the Gestapo, claiming that Trump is basically Hitler. I mean, by the way, this will not get covered anywhere in local media. This will not get touched anywhere else in Kansas City media. If the shoe was on the other foot and you had some area councilman up north, down south, claiming that, Joe Biden was Fidel Castro and going off on a rant like this, something tells me it might get some attention here in Kansas City media. But, the guy sticks up with his man bun and gets in front of the microphone and makes all these wild accusations. From the other side, what do you get? You get crickets. That's all you get. All right, Eli, you're in Kansas City. What's going on?
It is crazy to hear this kind of thing come out of arguably the whitest community in Kansas. They are whiter than the state as a whole by about 10%. And so it's interesting and easy, I guess, for elected officials in communities to rail against problems that they will never have to actually deal with themselves. It's all lip service.
It's all virtue signaling, Eli, as you well know. Thank you, my man. That's exactly right. That's all it is. It's the classic, not in my backyard crowd. It's the classic, Martha's Vineyard story of people saying, oh, boy, we love having these folks here legally when they were sent there by DeSantis, but we got to get them off the island, right? It's basically that mentality wrapped in the one. That's it. That's what they've done. And it's so hypocritical for anybody who's just paying attention. They love their little perfect village, and then they can virtue signal from it, but they never have to deal with the ramifications of things like 15 to 20 million people crossing the border illegally. No, the people east of Troost have to deal with that in Kansas City. They don't have to, but they can virtue signal around it. That's the beauty of it. They get the best of both worlds, right? Paul, go ahead. You're on KCMO.
Hey, Pete. Yeah, these guys here, to a Jewish American living in the diaspora, these terms Gestapo and Nazism, do they understand in September 1941 outside of Kiev, Ukraine, at the Yaribari Trench, the Gestapo shot Jewish women and children and men for 48 hours consecutively for 35,000. This is outrageous, hijacking these terms and using it over there in Prairie Village, this white guy that's probably never been out of the country. It's just an affront to all of us using these terms. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm glad you're speaking up as a Jew here, Paul, because you're right. It's so insulting to the entire culture, to the entire history of the Jewish people, to make these kind of insane analogies, and that's really what it is. It's insane. At least that's the nicest thing, most FCC compliant thing I can say about it right now.
It is, Pete. Thanks for covering that. I appreciate it.
I bet you're not going to hear it anywhere else. I promise you that. They ain't putting that on 41 tonight.